Put out in the deep waters and lower your nets for a catch. When Jesus told Peter to do this, Peter, I would surmise, more or less answered Jesus, saying, been there, done that. Peter more or less told Jesus that he tried that before, but it didn't work. It seems to me that Peter regretted his response and said something like, well, okay, I'll give it another try. He gave it another try, and we see what happened. Peter was taken aback by the number of fish he caught. Had he not responded to Jesus' invitation, Peter would have limited God's possibilities for him. God is always calling forth from us the best and the more, because that's how he made us. His riches for us are inexhaustible, just waiting to be discovered. Like Peter, we also will receive unique promptings, and may also conclude, been there, done that, but have we? It may be that in the eyes of some, a response to God's call is akin to searching for fool's gold, but Peter discovered otherwise. Peter eventually humbled himself, thinking more of Christ's request than his own feelings of been there, done that. And for this he was rewarded. He was remorseful, as we saw in the gospel, for his refusal to heed God's initial request. But when rewarded, he replied, how could I have doubted you? How could I so underestimated your love for me? Peter and other disciples were overwhelmed by God's generosity. Jesus sought to assure Peter that all would be well. Have no fear. You are mine, and I love you. Jesus reached out to Peter and the others and expressed his need for them. Jesus invited Peter to help him with hooking people, and no longer just hooking fish. What happened in this exchange between Peter and Jesus happens in the lives of many of us. Something stirs inside us. Something stirred inside Peter to cause him to initially engage Jesus with hesitation and skepticism, and yet, as time went on, he was all in. Jesus hooked Peter with bait that proved to be none other than the Word of God. And Peter would go on to hook others. And we allow ourselves to take the bait, the Word of God, and Jesus Christ will call forth from us unimaginable possibilities.